I was standing at the makeshift altar in my backyard, barely holding myself together, watching the love of my life glide down the aisle in her grandmother's delicate veil. The moment was perfect until a tow truck roared in, reversing straight through the flower arch, snagging the rose bush, and yanking my wedding car away like it was some forgotten clunker on a back road. The gasps from our guests drowned out our vows. My jaw hit the floor, my bride froze mid-step, and there, in the corner of the yard, sipping rose in her HOA sash like a suburban overlord, stood Linda, smirking as if she'd just claimed VY Tory in a twisted game of neighborhood supremacy. That's when it hit me. I wasn't just marrying my dream woman, I was stepping into a battlefield. The day had started like a scene from a rom-com. Birds chirped, the sun glowed, and everyone pitched in setting up chairs, stringing lights while my groomsmen and I fumbled with twinkle lights, mostly tangling ourselves in the process. My fiancée wife had always dreamed of a backyard wedding. Her late grandfather had built the gazebo by hand, and when her mom saw it draped in white chiffon, she teared up. This wasn't just a wedding. It was a tapestry of love, memory, and months of planning. So when Linda's HOA nonsense crashed in like a bulldozer, it stung deeper than I could have imagined. I'd parked my prized 1972 Ford Mustang just outside our fence, angled perfectly for our grand exit, complete with tin cans tied to the bumper and "Just Married" scrawled across the back window. I'd polished it twice the night before. That car wasn't just metal and paint. It was a bond my dad and I forged rebuilding its engine before he passed. It was family. But to Linda, the self-appointed ruler of our cul-de-sac, it was a violation of her sacred HOA commandments. In the weeks before the wedding, she'd sent us 3 snide letters, one griping about our grass being a quarter-inch too tall, another about our recycling bin's faded hue, and my favorite, a handwritten note taped to our door in prim cursive, accusing us of unauthorized gathering BHVY, or during our rehearsal dinner. She lived 2 houses down, always patrolling in her straw hat, clipboard in hand, reciting bylaws like a preacher. We never imagined she'd escalate to this. Mid-ceremony, as my bride stepped onto the aisle and the officiant opened his mouth, the tow truck's beep-beep sliced through the air like a bad-action MOVIE. Heads whipped around. The music cut out, and by the time I bolted through the chairs, ducked under the altar, and reached the street, the Mustang was already hooked. "Hey, that's my carrots, my wedding day," I shouted. The driver shrugged. "Talk to the HOA man. Got the call this morning." And there was Linda, wine glass in one hand, phone filming in the other, grinning like a smug dictator. "Oh, I warned you about the rules," she purred. "No non-residential vehicles on community sidewalks. Section 4B, Paragraph 6, it's crystal clear." "It's my driveway," I snapped. "Technically, it's the sidewalk easement, shared property, and you're in violation," she shot back. I stared, heart pounding with rage, humiliation, and disbelief at her sheer pettiness. The truck peeled off, dragging my car and my dignity down the street as metal scraped and memories crumbled. When I turned back, my bride was beside me. She didn't cry or yell. She just whispered, "Let's finish this. We'll deal with it later." That woman deserved the universe, and instead, she got Linda. We finished the ceremony, kissed, danced, cut the cake, and used my brother's rusty hatchback as our backup escape car. Everyone tried to keep things upbeat, and they mostly succeeded, but the air carried a bitter tang of someone trying to steal our joy. Linda didn't reappear that night. She'd probably retreated to replay her little VY Deo, casting herself as the neighborhood's unsung hero VYing us all from rogue muscle cars. But HOA tyrants like her think power lies in rules and fines. Real power? It's knowing how to bend those rules until they strangle the tyrant herself. By sunset, I was on the phone with the city, an attorney friend, a guy who owed me a favor from a MOVYing job, and a nonprofit shelter I sometimes helped out. I asked one question: how many people need a safe place to sleep? Linda might have taken my car, but I was about to take her driveway and she'd wish I'd just called a tow truck back. The morning after felt like a hangover without the booze. My wife stayed chipper, smiling as we opened cards and ate leftover cake for breakfast, but I saw the shadow in her eyes. That tow wasn't just a glitch, it was an assault on our moment. I squeezed her hand and promised, "She's not getting away with this." I meant it. Within 48 hours, HOA letters rained down like petty grenades. One claimed our lawn was now a hazard, despite being trimmed for the wedding. Another said our mailbox untouched for 6 years was non-uniform in color. And a third nitpicked the too reflective blue of our flower pots under streetlights. I wasn't mad. I was impressed. Linda had turned passive aggression into an art form. Neighbors started whispering, some apologized. Others stayed quiet, fearing they'd be next. Then came the kicker. Linda installed a camera aimed straight at our house, perched on a pole in her yard, its red light blinking like a sci-fi tracker. I waved one morning while grabbing the paper. She didn't wave back, just hovered behind her curtains with a fake plant. This wasn't about a car, Anna Maria, it was about control, about Linda flexing her last shred of power in a world that barely tolerated her. And me? I was the guy she'd tried to humiliate on the happiest day of my life. Game on. I dove into the HOA guidelines like a detective, poring over pages at night while my wife slept. Buried in an appendix, I found gold. For a car to be towed, the complaint had to be logged, time-stamped, and signed in the official record book, not just emailed or called in. At the community center, I played the eager new husband card, and the clerk handed me the log. There it was, my name, my address, the tow request dated 2 days before the wedding, signed by Linda. But my car wasn't there until the ceremony morning. I snapped photos, backed them up 3 times. This wasn't just a power trip, it was forgery. Her camera? Another violation obstructing public VYEW, unapproved surveillance. I documented everything. Letters, footage, Linda clipboard in hand like a suburban judge. Then karma sped up. A waste management buddy owed me a favor. 2 days later, a neon orange dumpster with fake biohazard signs and Linda's control issues spray painted on it landed on the easement, legal, untouchable. The neighborhood lost its sulfies, laughter, even a dog marking it like a trophy. Linda raged, called the cops, but my permit held. The officer smirked. It's cleared for a week. At the shelter, dropping off supplies, a coordinator's offhand comment, sometimes people just need a driveway to sleep safely, sparked my next move. I researched permits, mobile pods, housing rights. Linda wanted to play HOA queen? I'd flip her game board. Digging deeper, I found a gem. The first 12 feet of Linda's driveway were a shared utility easement, potentially communal under emergency, pro-VY science. A city outreach program allowed nonprofits to use such spaces for temporary shelters with HOA approval. I pitched a community harmony project to the shelter, portable sleeping pods, temporary, volunteer-driven. They loved it. I crafted a proposal dripping with buzzwords: community, outreach, VY stability, knowing Linda craved the spotlight. If she could play SAVY, or she skipped the next HOA meeting, probably basking in her dumpster win. I presented the plan. The board, tired of her reign, approved it. I had legal rights to her driveway. At 7:03 a.m. Friday, we rolled in 4 clean pods, a sign reading Community Harmony Initiative. Linda's scream could have cracked pavement. "This is my property," she shrieked. "Technically," I said, permit in hand. "It's the easement, and you agreed by missing the vote." News crews arrived. Someone, not me, tipped them off. HOA pioneers homeless outreach, the headline glowed. Linda couldn't complain without looking heartless. The residents were impeccable, helping neighbors, keeping things tidy. Her kingdom crumbled. She fought back emergency meetings, flyers, a cheap lawyer, all futile. The paperwork was bulletproof. She left petty notes on the pods. They replied with kindness. I rallied neighbors with proof of her abuses, forged logs, harassment, cameras, and a petition to oust her. At the packed HOA meeting, I laid it bare. The vote was unanimous. Linda was dethroned. The shelter lease? 6 months, renewable by voter. She could apologize publicly. A week later, she did, stiff and rehearsed. "I'm sorry. I overstepped. I played her wedding VY Deo." Booze followed. "Fine, I was wrong," she yelled. Laughter erupted. The pods left soon after, residents MOVYing up, Leah VYing thank yous. I ran for HOA president, won, and scrapped her petty rules. Linda sold her house to wedding planners, poetic. On our anniversary, we drove the Mustang, Kins rattling, neighbors cheering. "Guess what, Linda?" I called. "I park where I want now."